What's up, dude? Oh, we got the pupper in frame now. Yeah.
I sat down
Now
and
you
she
can't
popped
move.
on
You
me
can't
and I
move.
have no choice.
You
I
can't
got no,
move.
but I
You're
think
stuck there.
forever, actually, there's no way out. I think the light in the background okay still?
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's anything like I don't watch like if this is at least the way I watch a lot of YouTube videos is just I just have it on
Yep.
and then occasionally I look at the YouTube video. And
Yep.
so I don't. I feel like having this desk that's wobbly is like the worst thing for someone watching it.
There's a little bit of
But
gyration occurring.
it's like it's really meant to be listened to. There's not a lot happening in the video,
That,
so that's how I listen to most of my podcasts is on YouTube. But I don't watch the video unless I'm like sitting down to eat or something like that. But yeah, it's a there's a there's a tournament right now going on in Omega League for Dota.
for Dota.
So good. It's been like the past 3 weeks, and it's almost every day. There's like 3 series that happen. It's been such a godsend, and I was right in the middle of one right before a session, so I had to pause the live stream. So
I'm sorry for inconvenienced your nerddom in such a way.
such an inconvenience, man. Such an inconvenience. Really huge. Um, I like have to go and hit play when we're done. Like an hour later, it's gonna be rough. It's gonna be really tough to do that. All right, man. So yeah, dude, we know the drill. We know the drill out here. So tell me about your week and your routine.
Yep. So start the day with some journaling. It takes the same form it has for a while now. And just to recap those, it's a couple stories that work really well. So mostly ripping those from the Deepak Chopra stuff that we did. So it's like, today I remember to be grateful or appreciate things, whatever word you want to throw in there. Today, or every moment of every day I live my life abundantly. I think that one's pretty fucking awesome. And my body's a gift is one I go to time and time again. And
I feel like the everyday I live my life abundantly. Like I like to touch on that one for a second because so many of these can seem like woo woo and like yada yada and kind of word salady and really like if I say that and I don't believe it, it's really a lack of imagination.
Yeah.
Right. It's almost a different form of appreciation or gratitude because for anyone like not dying in a hovel and suffering right immensely all it takes is a little bit of thinking to come up with all of the like insane amount of shit that's in somebody's in my life.
Dude, just to be able to like wake up and walk to my kitchen and pour a giant 32-ounce glass of water that's clean and safe, like
Yeah, exactly.
fucking insane for the vast majority of the world.
That was not a possibility 150 years ago. You were drinking beer because your water was like it might kill me. I don't know about this water stuff. It seems to really hurt people, but I'm just saying we're gonna have wine for breakfast because it won't kill me.
No, and yet there was the small factor of average life expectancy being like 30 something at the time. May or may not have been correlated.
Well, a lot of that is infant mortality. So if you made it past 13 or something, you're pretty much going to be into your 60s kind of thing. So the average, that's why averages are a really weird number. We want to get that median. What's the number in the middle of this thing? Yeah, because averages are just too impacted by outliers.
Yep.
Just like the average net worth of someone in their 30s is like $100 and something thousand, but the median is 40. This is not including your primary residence. Hold on, I'm going to close the door, actually. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Go and fill the dead air with an interesting story.
Yeah, I'm filling the dead air now. That is a really interesting point. Like, because I don't know. Bezos is probably... I was actually filling the dead air. I was doing my job.
Yeah.
Nice. I was trying to think about, like, how... I guess Bezos is probably, what, like 45, 50? Because
I don't know how old he is.
$200 billion into the mix. It's like, those numbers are fucked.
What numbers? Oh, the net worth.
Average.
Yeah. Exactly. You can't include those. I don't think, anyway. Or like, yeah, the median I think gives because the sample set is so large. You got tens of millions or hundreds of millions of people in a particular population. I think that middle number is more accurate and more representative of what people's net worths are. But anyway. Yeah, money is something I could talk about like all the day, entire time. It's a fun topic. It's a fun topic once the mind is shifted about it. If it's coming from a place of lack and not enoughness, it can be not so fun. But we've all got to start somewhere. I've definitely started there. So yeah, it's really funny when that shift happens and then my urge to like buy a bunch of random shit. It kind of disappears. I much rather just see my I could spend money on this thing, or I could put that money into this thing and then get more money later. It's like the $1,000 haircut or something that Warren Buffett talks about. He just well, I think about that, like spending money on a haircut or what that money will do like 30 years from now. And I'm like, is this haircut worth $1,000 right now?
Yeah, I think Mr. Money Mustache does a similar thing on like the $5 decisions kind of thing.
Yep.
Like, that ends up being like $250 or $300 or something, compounded over time. It's much easier than to look at that and be like, yeah, I'm probably good. I don't know that I need that.
Yeah, Mr. Money Mustache is awesome. He's just too cheap for me.
Yeah. Oh God, I like nice shit way too much.
It's a happy medium. I just don't have any desire to be that cheap.
Nope.
Mr. Money Mustache is like one step above like taking 2-ply and making 2 sets of toilet paper out of it. Like he's one notch above that.
And he would consider that like extreme luxury.
Yeah.
Buying his double-ply toilet paper. Which, to be fair, it is, but not my kind of extreme luxury.
Yeah, he would just get by with just a rag. He's like, you don't need this toilet paper. Like, he doesn't do his laundry and wash it. Like, he doesn't dry his laundry. He puts it out on the rack. And I'm like, that's just a level that I'm not gonna the $30 or whatever. I'm just gonna have a machine dry my laundry.
Yeah.
I'm okay. I'll retire 5 years later or whatever it is. Yeah.
Well, darn, I get to do something I love doing.
Well, that's the thing, right? It's like, yeah. I don't know. It's a balance, like all things. But there's a lot of still great stuff that he has that I really like. Just that savings rate is total mind opener. Increasing that savings rate from the recommended 10%. Or whatever it is, some like paltry, tiny ass amount of your income to up to 50, 60, 70% is, yeah. But anyway, all right, back to your routine. Let's get into it.
Yeah. So do the journaling thing, write down some appreciations, get up and shower. And then usually I started walking Hattie before I have breakfast. I found that I'm just not hungry. And like, Shelby and I are right in the middle of like, hey, when are you hungry? Are you eating because you're hungry or because it's what you do? So I just found that I'm not usually hungry right away. So I'll take Hattie for a walk. And just like post-breakfast walking the dog is very risky business because that's usually right in the shitting window. And so you just don't know if the back half of the walk is going to be a butt clencher or not. And I don't need that in my life. So made that adjustment, get back, make some breakfast, which has been something I actually fucking love eating. Like you were talking about your Greek yogurt and pomegranate, I think last week. It's like I could eat toast with peanut butter, banana, and honey on it and a little like sea salt. every day.
Sea salt is key. That like chunky sea salt, really just tying all those flavors together. Yep. Yeah, for sure.
I could fuck that up all day long. And after that, get ready for work. Meditation was kind of hit or miss this week. I'd say I probably hit it like 3 times, 4 times. It's fucking fine.
How dare you?
I know.
How dare you? You're gonna fucking, you're a fucking fuck up failure, dude. Well, how dare you be inconsistent with that meditation?
Unacceptable. I do try, usually I'll try and make, one of my walks with Hattie at least somewhat active meditation, but it's hit or miss too.
Meditation is the practice for the rest of the meditation, which is the rest of life. So absolutely. Is it important? Yes. Like, it's the drills. It's just like, it's the fundamentals. And then going out into the real world and playing around with those tools that I'm cultivating in practice is also more meditation. So, the better we get at this kind of stuff, the easier it is to be like, I don't need that practice. I don't need to do those layups. Well, at least I'll speak for myself. Like, the easier it is for me, like I'm fine. Like, I got this. Here's the thing: is like, this is why I can't fuck it up. Yeah. I don't practice. Say if I don't go for, I don't know, a month, 2 months without meditating, then I just start to feel it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And then since I am super attuned to how I'm feeling, and I have my North Star is well-being, then it's pretty easy to go, okay, well, what am I not doing that I know works really well? And then it's meditation. That's why I don't like. Suffering is such a great rudder. Right? Yeah. Once I've identified that well-being is the primary goal, like that's the primary goal, that's the primary driver, that's the North Star, then once I start feeling that wobbling, it's very easy for me to go, oh, okay. I know that I'm not doing X, Y, and Z anymore, and now I'm feeling this particular way. Let me start reincorporating that back into my life. And then there you go. Oh, okay, cool. And it's back to normal, which is content. So the emotional guidance system is a great tool in that regard. I can always, that's why it's like when someone's like, I don't know what to do, like yada, yada, something is like confusing. I don't know if I should do X, Y, or Z. It's like, you're spending way too much time thinking about this. Just pick one of them, and then you'll know. It's like, or texting someone back. Let's say it's a girl or something. What should I just fucking text her, man? Text her literally anything, and then see what the response is. If she likes you, she'll message you back. If she doesn't, then she'll message you back 4 days later. So it's really simple. It's it's really simple stuff. But when I'm in it and I'm filled with emotion, it's kind of can seem like it's difficult.
Yeah, and I've noticed the like my allowable half-life for suffering is so small now. At least like self-induced suffering, like you were just talking about. If I stop doing the things that I know support my well-being for any significant period of time, and by significant, I mean like it's gotten to the point where it's like 3 days-ish is probably the cap, where I just start to feel so like malaised, I guess. And it's super easy then to be like, oh yeah, I know how to get this back.
I'll make the distinction, right, between, I'll just make a semantic difference for anyone that's listening that might be confused between like pain and suffering, where pain is just something that's just going to inevitably happen. I'm going to stub my toe on something. A family member that I love very much is eventually going to die, right? These things are going to happen and I'm going to feel them. So it's not the aversion or avoidance of these inevitable feelings. What it is a practice in my reaction to having those feelings in the first place. And that's where the suffering comes in, right? There's a bunch of cliches and proverbs about like person, like I actually, there's tons of them and now I can't come up with any of them.
My favorite is, I've said it a few times now, but suffering equals pain times resistance is my favorite.
Yep. That's a good one. And so when we're talking about the emotional guidance system and becoming attuned, and you use the phrase like self-imposed suffering, like semantically, let's just say and assume like all of the suffering is the self-imposed kind. It's that resistance towards the pain and whatnot. I'm going to feel it. I'm going to feel it and feel it and feel it and feel it until it just sucks too much. And then when we become really, really attuned to our emotions in this way, the bar for what is acceptable of like self-flatulation of suffering, like the self-imposed suffering that you're talking about, just becomes way, 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 way higher or lower depending on your perspective. Right? So it's just like, I just won't accept doing that to myself as much. Yep. And then it's like, okay, well, and then it's really, since I know what the root causes are for my suffering, namely being my perspective and my thinking about whatever situation I'm in, and I have a set of tools that I can apply to shift that thinking and shift those actions, and then just do those things. Yep. And the more we do those things, the better we get at them. And then the less I suffer. Yep. And then the more and more automatic these responses can become, to almost where it's just effort. I don't even think about it. I just behave differently, or I just don't feel the things in the first place anymore.
Yeah, that's been one of the biggest shifts for me over the last couple of months, I think, is, you know, when you and I first started together, there was a ton of fear around kind of that, like, I'm not going to want to do anything, right? I'm going to give up. I'm not going to have any ambition or drive or whatever. You know, for me, in my experience, the last couple of months has been, my bar for that kind of like allowable bar for what I will or won't do has just changed so much, purely because of what I want to be doing. Like, if I like studying Japanese is a great example for me. It's like, if I go more than like a day or two of not doing that, there's no white knuckling my, like, I must go study for 30 minutes today to make, it's like, this just feels bad if I don't do it. Like, I don't like the feeling of avoiding this thing that I like to do, or that might be hard, but I feel better afterwards.
Yep, exactly. I mean, look, like it's two just very, very different strategies for approaching the same thing, which is, look, there are habits and routines, right, that I know cultivate a sense, like, just well-being over time. Physical fitness, learning continually, right? Expanding my mind in intellectual and creative ways. And there's two approaches that I know of. There may be more, but two general approaches to doing those consistently. And one is white knuckle discipline. And then the other is what we're talking about here. And so what's the word or phrase that we can use to kind of describe this? And I guess I would call it like effortless routine and habits. Yeah. Because they become a thing that I want to go do. Something that was really awesome in the Sam Harris app recently is, and he mentions this in one of his updates to the application, and he removed streaks from the app. Yeah. We actually put the feature in there without much thought. It was just a bunch of other, it was a feature that just every other meditation app had. And then we got to thinking about it and we removed it. And one thing that he mentioned, he goes, what I want your experience to be is that you do this thing and then you come to it, not because you've like want to increase or increment some arbitrary number, but it's because you're doing the thing and you're seeing results in your life, and then you want to come back to do it because you want to do it. And that's then effortless. Then this habit is effortless. And so while I think that discipline and white knuckling can get over particular humps for sure, to like get it to be almost in that habitual effortless phase, it's totally a strategy to go do that. What I find is also really effective is changing the story in my mind about doing the thing in the first place. Yep. Like, I'll give you an example of what that means. So exercise for me was, in the beginning, was about was about like looking jacked and like looking a particular way so that like people would like me and love me. And so my exercise was super spotty. and it was geared towards like, the goals were aesthetic in nature.
Girls for the girls, baby.
Yeah, exactly. Right. You can't see calves in the pool, so who cares? Right. And so, but as I got older and my relationship to working out changed, and it wasn't like an overnight switch. But what I started to do was I started to go because I just liked the feeling of being vigorous with my body. And then I found other ways and other working out like that accomplished this particular task. So it wasn't all those like hardcore hit, like redlining type workouts that have released a bunch of endorphins. It was like hot yoga or really gentle yin yoga, very different kind of ends of the spectrum sorts of things. And then being with people and being in community. Then it was like, you couldn't keep me out of these places. Right? Then I'm going all the time. Didn't require discipline. There's no discipline involved. It's something I just genuinely want to do because the goal shifted. It wasn't some outcome of, I want to go up here this way. And it wasn't even an outcome of, oh, I want to feel this way. It's just, I just enjoy being there and then trying to keep me the fuck out of it. So then there's no willpower required. The same thing with program, the same thing with anything. I can apply this approach to anything. And then if well-being is my North Star, right, I do this to engender more well-being. There's a really great, I was actually reading through a Hacker News post about something. I think it was about like the problem with excellence or something like that. And one of the comments that I really, really resonated with was, we don't ever stop. Like we're trying to climb all these hills, but very rarely does one, and I can speak from my own experiences, like very rarely did I ask myself, like, is this the right hill, or is this the hill I even want to be climbing in the first place? And so that's the near miss with discipline and white knuckling. Yep. Because it's like, oh, this thing is hard. Okay, I know if I like, it's hard. Okay, that must mean it's worth it, and I must go do this, right? That's generally that's generally the story that comes through white knuckling with discipline. Now, the near miss with this approach, because it's not perfect by any means, is well-being. I can confuse well-being with these ephemeral, like, well, all feelings are ephemeral, but with what I'll call like the birthday cake or like sugar cereal feeling goods. I can confuse those two things. So if I meet some resistance in a task early on, I'm like, this thing's not for me, like blah, blah. And I can weave this story, right? I can weave this story of like, well-being is my north, and it doesn't feel particularly good, blah, blah, and then not do it and put it off. And the good news is if something that I actually really want to go doing, I put it off for long enough, I'm gonna, like you were mentioning with the Japanese, feel that pain. And if I'm practicing, right, I can, because I'm not doing the thing. Yeah. That's right. And then go do it. No discipline required. Just awareness required. So I hope that talks, like, kind of weaves the nuances into what we're talking about in these kinds of experiences. I hope that was understandable from other people and didn't see too woo-woo-y. But discipline has its place, obviously, and it is very effective. And it is a skill and it's a muscle. But I don't want a depletable source. I just don't want to be like of motivation. What I want is something like one level. Motivation is the wrong word. I don't want a depletable resource. I don't want a finite resource or tap into a finite resource for this. And in my experience, well-being and having that be the rudder or the true north, right, has just been a renewable resource. I have not tapped the bottom of this resource. Maybe it's expendable, but I haven't reached it yet.
Yeah, I think the big key for me with it is that point we reiterate over and over and over again. There's no fucking it up versus like, I think a lot of the time, at least in my experience, the dialogue with discipline kind of stuff is as soon as I don't do it once, I have fucked up.
The stakes are really high. It's very binary. And like you either are successful or you have fucked up. And then what I tended to do was like, oh, you had the cookie or whatever it was in violation of, this protocol. And therefore everything is blown. Therefore, I must go eat more cookies or whatever the thing is, right? I must, and with your Japanese, I guess, and now I will watch 20 movies in a row and not do anything, right? Or whatever it is, right? And I guess someone that's in the discipline space would come in and be like, well, you're just applying discipline incorrectly, right? It's like, but for me, it's like the story I've woven about discipline is exactly what you mentioned. It's like any deviation is weakness. You have fucked up. And I just don't want to live in that high stakes of a world. And I don't have to.
Yep.
I don't have to. It's like live a very comfortable, very great life. And I feel really good almost all the time. I don't know what else I want, right? That's my biggest problem, right? I don't know what else I want out there. And I don't have to. I actually saved this. I didn't save it. I just got it this morning. And so someone has said the universe has imagined it even better than you have. And we like to add that the universe got all of its information about what you like from you and has remembered every piece of it and has put it together in perfect formation. And so the things that are on their way to you are so much better than you even know that you want. And as you allow them, the essence of all of these things that the universe knows that you are wanting to make their way to you appear in perfect timing for you. Now that's a little woo-woo-y. That's a lot of word salad-y stuff. But in my experience, when I've just put something out there in a super general way, let me flip it the other way. In my experience, when I've set like ideals or goals or what I would like to have happened in my life, and then just performed very basic, simple, not necessarily easy actions over time, and those stack up, those goals were way too low. Way too low. Like those ideas of what I thought like would be fulfilling in life and bring me joy, like not even close. Not even close. I just like things that would have seemed completely unattainable to me. As an example, becoming a software engineer in the Bay Area. Like that wasn't even like, what are you talking about? That's for smart people. Like
that's for people who are good at math.
Exactly.
That was mine.
Exactly. And it's a great place for people who are good at math. Yeah. And it's also like, I'm also good at math. I just didn't believe that I was. And it was true. It was a self-fulfilling prophecy. Self-fulfilling prophecy. And so I don't know how we got into this topic again, or in general, but we did. So back to your Japanese and then doing your Japanese and being in tune with it. Like really great job of just being aware of what's going on with your emotions. And then the actions shift. And in my experience, it's like, oh, it's just that much easier just to get back into doing the thing.
Yeah, it's absolutely the case with really with anything at this point. Like I'll use an example just from last night, actually. So I went to met some of Morgan's family last night. And
is Morgan the girl you're dating?
Yeah, the girl I sent you the picture of.
Yeah. You guys look great together. It's awesome. I'm very happy.
She's pretty fucking amazing.
I'm happy.
She met some of my family last week, so I went down to her aunt's house last night, and she's Hispanic, so huge Hispanic family, like whole 9 yards, and it was really funny. Like, I had never had chilaquiles before, and that's what her aunt was making.
I don't know what that is.
It's like so she homemade tortilla chips really quick, like just because apparently that's a thing that people do. And then you like put shredded chicken in there with chili, cheese, sour cream, and a fried egg on top, and then serve it next to some Mexican pasta that I can't remember the name of.
I was going to say, this sounds super Mexican. Like, it doesn't sound,
incredible.
because I'm Puerto Rican. So technically, like, I don't know the difference between Hispanic and Latino. I think I'm Latino and not Mexican, or Hispanic rather. I don't know the difference. Or you could be both. And I don't know, but like, yeah, Mexican culture is totally like, I just don't know anything about it. Very different. It's not the same
thing. And we were hanging out, and her aunt was like, Jordan, can I make your plate for you? I'm like, yeah, of course. So she like makes this huge bowl for me.
Yeah, dude. That is the same
thing. Because it was fucking insane how good it was.
Yeah, homemade tortilla. Were they super thick?
Yeah,
tortilla chips. Yeah, dude.
Like, and like fresh, like just crunchy, and the oil still.
Dude,
oh
so
my
good.
God.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Fucked up the whole thing. I got like halfway through, and I'm like, I'm good. But crushed the whole thing. Felt fine. But the dialogue for me was like, I have all these tools that I'm getting from Shelby and that I've gotten from Corey in the past, right? Around like how I want to behave around food. And then now I get to cultivate the awareness around how this thing actually feels relative to that North Star. And it was like, in this case, I felt obligated to finish eating this thing.
Yep, definitely. Yep.
And so I did the whole thing, woke up today, like, don't feel great. But it doesn't fucking, like, I'm not going to go fix it. I don't need to go train twice as hard or restrict anything today. Like, it was just like, oh yeah, in the future, like maybe let's not do that.
Well, here's what I found, right? So if I eat a bunch at nighttime or in the evening, excuse me, if I have a really, really big meal, like the last really big meal I think I had was Mexican.
Yeah.
And it was that like French fry thing that I told you about.
Oh yeah.
No. We got burritos again from a different place. That was the shrimp and steak that I wanted, that I thought that was going to be, and it was not. It had French fries in it. I'm like, what the fuck? Too starchy. And what I find is just, I'm just not as hungry in the morning.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm like, I just don't even want breakfast. And then I get to like, it gets to be like 11 or 12. And I'm like, oh, okay, now I'm hungry. Maybe. And then it can get to like 2 or 3 and I haven't eaten yet. I'm like, oh, okay, well, now I'm hungry. And then I have another big meal, and it's like, oh, I'm doing like an OMAD thing just based off of the feel of it.
Yep.
Right. And yes, the obligation thing, totally. That would have done the same. That would have fucking, I've been in like, and can I have more now?
Well, and they actually were making a joke at the table. They're like, it's actually considered super rude in this house not to ask for seconds. I'm like,
it's pretty standard.
Yeah. But it was awesome. Super, super good time. It was like, to your point of these things that I ask for, like, my whole life, I'm basically like Chevy Chase from Christmas Vacation. It's like, I just want a big family Christmas with like a big, just the gathering of all the crazy people. And
great movie.
Oh, classic. Like the scene where Eddie is just dropping like 10 pounds of dog food on top of each other into the car is like one of my favorite movie scenes of all time.
Shitter's fault.
But it was just kind of that like, oh my God, I'm around these fantastic people experiencing this thing that I've been asking for a really long time. It was really, really cool. It was a lot of fun.
And you're the only gringo?
No, her aunt's husband is also.
Okay. All right. So you got 2.
Yeah. Other than that.
And a place to practice another language, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I actually have fairly decent Spanish.
Fairly decent? Yeah, I would not die in a Spanish-speaking country. I'm ashamed to all like biracial like Spanish. Like my parents taught me 0 Spanish. So.
Yeah, Morgan doesn't know any either, which is hilarious. I know enough to get around in a Spanish-speaking country if I needed to.
Yeah, it would be fine in a Spanish-speaking country. Like, I am very bad at this, but You can tell me where the library is, please. I got that on lock. I want to know where a library. There's like maybe 30 nouns I can ask where it is, and then maybe 40 now.
And you get a
Donde está el autobús? And I'll actually, like, my pronunciation, I'm purposely being shitty at pronunciation. I actually have learned that if I'm going to ask questions in Spanish, it actually really helps the conversation if I pronounce it really poorly. Because since I grew up in a in a Puerto Rican household, my pronunciation is actually really, really good if I want it to be. But if I go in speaking that way, they will assume I know how to speak Spanish and then just fucking go off, like go to the rate. And I'm like, no, let's bring this back. Talk to me like a 2-year-old. So I actually purposely pronounce it like a shitty white dude, speak Spanish, just so they like, okay, he doesn't know how to speak Spanish. And it's just much easier that way.
Yeah, that happens with my Japanese tutor too, where I'll say a sentence I'm like really proud of, which is like, I don't know, 8 words for me.
Japanese is hard as fuck, man. So kudos to you. Yeah, kudos. It's just a totally different way of thinking about a language, like speaking. Coming from
it's just, like, completely backwards.
It's completely different.
Yeah,
it's completely different.
But if I get that one sentence out, I'm like, fuck yeah. Then she
is Japanese tone based like Chinese is?
Yes, it's very like.
Yeah. So do they have so what I know about Chinese, right? There's like 7 tones, and you can there's an up, there's like a flat tone, and then there's a down. So there's you go and then you go and then you go and so those are drastically different depending on what the word is. Is that the same thing?
It's very similar. There's like, if you want to ask a question, all you do is say the sentence, but then you attach an upward inflected ka to the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the same thing in Chinese. You just ask like a ma at the end of it.
Yep.
And then that's a question. Then another question for you, is there is there like so in Chinese there's pinyin, which is the English spelling with the like tones. Do they have a pinyin version of that for Japanese?
Yeah, they call it romaji or
romaji. Okay.
All right. Cool. And then there's the hiragana, which is like Japanese alphabet, and then the katakana, which is for all the stolen words.
What's a stolen word?
Any word from English that has been adapted to Japanese.
Got it. Okay. Cool. Like, damn it. I know like a couple. I know just from watching Terrace House. Chocolate. Isn't chocolate a stolen word or something like that? Or like
coffee is. Coffee is just kohi.
Okay. And then is cola or like cola or something like that? Yeah.
It's, koku is Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
There's 3 alphabets. There's the traditional one, the katakana, and then there's the kanji, which is just ripped from China. But that's like their character-based language. Yeah, dude, it's crazy. It's crazy. But it was super cool. Morgan's uncle actually lived over there for a month, so I got to talk to him.
Oh, sweet! Awesome.
For a while last night. It was really cool.
Maybe one day the borders will open back up and you can go to other countries. Maybe
someday.
One day.
Yeah, their prime minister just resigned yesterday he's like about to get caught for a bunch of illegal shit, I think. So he resigned in advance.
Politics are a fucking shit show everywhere. Yeah. It's really funny. There's a really awesome YouTube channel that's Australian, called Government Ads, and it is phenomenal. And it's just this purposefully shittily dubbed audio with this nice pretty lady talking about how the government is currently fucking you but selling it. It's hysterical. They just recently did one on, every once in a while they do US politics. Most of the time it's Australian politics, obviously, but a couple of times, and it's just so fucking funny. It's so great. Check it out. Honest Government Ads, I believe is what the channel's called. Really good stuff. I don't know how it got to. Oh yeah, from shitty governments. Yeah, everybody government just attracts anyone who is attracted to government. In my opinion, is this is a giant generalization, obviously, but is just like a fucking sociopath. It's like that is concerned a sociopath or narcissist or both, and just like anyone who wants to be powerful is not the person I want in government.
Yep. Which is all of them.
So it's like, and I'm sure there's some like Leslie Nopes in there from Parks and Rec, right? But it's like those are few and far between, I think. And I think it just rewards, the incentives are all completely misaligned, and it just rewards the shittiest behavior.
Yep, I agree.
So it's all about incentives, man. Game theory, my man, that I know very little about. All right, dude, let's get into a resentment while we got some time.
Yeah, let's do it. And share my screen. Yeah, so resentment against the institution of Christianity. This is probably going to make some people mad, and that's okay.
I'm sure some people will resonate with it.
Like if you remove the capital C word and inject whatever
just religion. It's good to be specific if it is specific. So if it is specifically Christianity, right? If you don't have a lot of experience with any other religion, and it's not just the like institution of religion as a whole, but specifically your experience with Christianity, it's good to keep it specific.
Yep.
So
yeah, totally.
And you are not the only one. I'm pretty sure every Christian out there, and I'm sure plenty of non-Christians have a resentment or two. I'm pretty much sure anyone in any religion has a resentment against their own religion. It's like anyone who has a mom or a dad has a resentment to their mom or dad. It's like any like overarching like structure of authority, there's gotta be a resentment there for sure.
100%.
So yeah, get after it, like get into it, man.
Yep. So story here. Talk about a group of self-righteous pricks. Only Jesus can save you. Make sure you're giving us your money so that you can be saved. Jesus loves you as long as you conform to our interpretation of that which earns you love. I hate that children are indoctrinated into this when they're too young to understand or make decisions for themselves.
Yeah.
I hate that every pastor I've ever resonated with is sold out. It's no longer about the message. It's about getting yet another person to join your club.
What does selling out mean?
So the one guy that I used to really like, a guy named Mike Todd, and it became a thing where the end of every single sermon was, if you've decided to accept Jesus as your Lord and Savior today, please fill out your card and come to the front kind of thing. It's like, okay, dude.
What does that mean? I don't know what that means. I'm a Catholic, so I have no idea like what other people do.
Yeah, so at the end of the sermon, it's like he starts talking and he asks everyone to like bow their head in prayer, and like, if anyone has decided today to make the decision to allow Jesus into your life and to be your Lord and Savior, like, you'll find a card in front of you in your pew, fill that out with your contact information, and then come bring it up to the front so that we can get you in touch and get you in the community and that kind of stuff. Like,
how is that selling out? What is the selling out? I picture like him driving a Rolls Royce or something, and like,
I mean, he is that. Like,
that's what I pick, but it's like I don't understand
It's no longer about what he spent the hour talking about. It's about getting that last 5 minutes of more people signed up for the club.
Like a recruitment seminar kind of thing. Okay. Yeah.
Selling out's maybe the wrong word. I mean,
I get it. I understand what you're saying now.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, so it's no longer about the message. It's about getting yet another person to join your club. It's all.
I thought the card was going to be like where you stuff money into it, and then it's like that's where.
Oh no! I mean, they just like pass the bucket around for that.
Yeah. Okay.
It all just feels like a giant judgmental MLM system. Hate superiority complex.
Okay. Yeah.
The way I live my life is full of sin, according to them, and that sucks because I'm rather fond of myself in my life. I don't want to fall in line with their expectations. What if I date somebody who's uber Christian again? Then this is like a separate resentment, but it fits in here. What if they say something like, I can't marry somebody who I think is going to hell someday?
Yeah.
That happened.
Yeah.
The chances of me finding community without religion aren't very good either, and I despise that. There should be other outlets, and there just aren't.
Cool. Okay.
This is too vague. I'm going to say I don't like the institution of Christianity. You could also, I mean, a more general fact here might be like the institution of Christianity exists. But
I think like this is basic. Like that's fine. Like I think that's fine. I like to keep it out of like your feelings as much as possible in the fact place. So what's another fact about this?
Trying to think. Yeah, I mean, the only one that comes to mind for me is like the institution exists. If I'm like trying to remove all of my own attachment to it.
I think we can get a little bit more like personal in this one. So in order for you to have experienced these things, what did you have to go do?
Oh, I had to at least participate or try it out.
So yeah, it's like I go to church or I went to church, something like that. Something like that. I was raised in the church. Something of that. I think something like that is a bit, yeah. So that just kind of takes the emotion out of it. It's like you went to church, parents brought you to church. Yeah.
I don't know why I capitalized adult.
Yeah. Capital A adult, man. Okay. Pride.
Yeah, pride. It's like, just feels like on the subject of, do I live my life according to the way that I'm being told to live it? No. Okay. Well, that kind of sucks. That doesn't feel very good. Like I'm not proud of these behaviors or whatever. There's like when I was younger, I did do the whole, like, yes, I raised my hand. Jesus is my Lord and Savior thing. It's like, okay, well, I'm not really proud I did that. And B, then I did still do that. And so I'm not proud if I ever don't follow through with that, even if I don't resonate with it.
So could we be a bit more concise in this description of how it affects your pride? Like specifically what about you going to church affected your pride?
Yeah. It just doesn't feel good. Like I was never proud to tell people like, yeah, I go to church. Like, doesn't feel good.
I don't see how that's a bit like other people judging you for being a Christian. Right. But how does the institution of Christianity in this particular resentment affect your pride?
Oh yeah. Well, in this particular resentment, I've designed it to make sure I don't have any pride. It's like, I am living my life in a way that's not congruent with this, so I must suck.
Right. So they have certain like mores and tenets to live by. You are not doing that, therefore, you are bad.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, it's very Christian. So that's that's by design. So.
Pocketbook. It's like, hey man, give us your money. Jesus will love you.
Yep.
And personal relationships, like if I do believe that community without religion doesn't exist, then I'm not going to have any.
Yep, exactly. If you're like, I'm not going to be a part of this, then you lose like this giant network of people and you don't have your community anymore. Yep, for sure.
Sexual relationships. Yeah. Like story I told here was dating someone who like didn't believe that they could be with someone they thought was going to hell someday. Like, okay, if I'm going to date the most likely percentage in America is me dating another Christian person. Are they all going to think of me that way? Or is anyone ingrained in a religion going to think of me that way and like not want to be with me?
Well, I see how that would impact your like personal relationships, but sexual is specifically about the sex part.
Yeah, I mean, so there's like, if I date a super Christian person and they're like, no sex until marriage, I'm like, well, fuck that.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, if I have an ambition of like, there's a few, I think. If I have an ambition of being able to be in a community,
I
can't do it unless I'm in a religion, then that ambition's being fucked with.
Yep.
If I have
what expectation about reality do you have that this story is fucking with?
Yeah, I think I have an expectation from reality of not being told what club I need to be in to be an okay person. And this whole system's designed to make that not okay.
Okay. I can jive with that one. Self-esteem.
Yeah.
I'm giggling just because, like, as a Catholic, it's like, yeah, this is what you sign up for.
Yeah, it's like there's not even a carrot. It's a perpetual stick.
Well, the carrot's when you die. So that's the carrot. It's all stick when you're alive.
Yeah, dude, I'm just not here for that. That's not the party I signed up for.
It's so clearly a religion that came out of just people who were just the poor motherfuckers on the planet. And we're like, look, like, this is all very reputable. Like, this is all really redeemable and it's all great. Like, you're suffering right now. Like, I know life sucks. It's 1300. We don't have anything, but don't worry. It's going to be awesome once you die. So just don't fuck anybody. Don't have any fun. And it'll be great. Okay, continue.
Yep. Yeah, selfish. I know better than this ancient institution and all the people that choose to take part.
Yep, that's a good one.
And then, yeah, my relationship to this institution is unique and nobody else can understand.
I think that's a really good selfishness right there. It's like, yeah, for all of the warts of Christianity, and there are many, there's some good shit in there.
Oh, for sure.
that has been tested over time to work. And just be like, well, I'm a fucking, 10-year-old kid and I know better than this fucking thing. Yep. Mm-hmm,
yeah, sure. There's just some shit like stoning your wife makes sense.
Yeah.
Battle tested. No, you're absolutely right though. There is a lot of good stuff in there. Spelled correctly. So some dishonesty here. My beliefs dictate my worth. My generosity dictates my worth. Following through on obligations that don't, and or living my life in a way that doesn't resonate is the only way to be safe and not alone.
Yep. Uh-huh.
Every pastor eventually becomes some head of a multi-level market.
Okay, yep.
My future is determined by the events of my past. I cannot escape. There is no community without religion. I am a bad person because I don't follow the creeds of any particular religion to the T.
Yeah, I think you touched like a whole spectrum of dishonesty there. So all the way from the very, very surface level to kind of the deeper ones. Yeah, I think this is good.
Sweet.
No other feedback there.
And then fear. I don't have a belief system to rest on, which makes me feel other than, or at least my belief system seems disruptive or unusual to others, so they don't want to associate with me.
Yep.
I'll be condemned to suffer if I don't fall in line to the structure that religion mandates.
Yep.
Children everywhere won't learn to think for themselves, and the world will be far worse off because of it. I'm going to remain unlovable unless I fall in line with an organized religion. If I don't give more freely or participate in these communities, I'll be cast out or condemned. There is no solution but to be part of something like this.
Yeah, and then, okay, so then you're cast out and you don't have a community, and then what happens?
And I will spend my life alone, seeking out something that I will never have.
Great. And then what happens to all these people that are indoctrinated and can't think for themselves?
They go continue fucking up the world.
How?
There will be a continual stream of people ensuring that people like me will always feel left out or left behind for the rest of time.
Okay. So it's kind of like creating this like big populace of keeping people like yourself down. and out as other. Cool. That's good.
Whole bunch of pills. No red pills.
That's great, man. I love it. All right, so let's pull out some of the themes here.
I can't have what I want.
Which in this case is what?
A club that doesn't suck. Or,
there we go.
I'm alone.
Yep.
The suffering will never end until I die. I die. And even then, I'm not Christian, so I'm going to just go burn in the seventh layer of hell anyway.
Well, it depends on what kind of Christian you are.
Well, that's true.
So, yes, and mine, yes, absolutely. Sorry, bud.
Let's see. My worth is determined by things outside of me. There's something here about expectations are not being able to live up to rules or something like that. But I'm trying to think of how to phrase it in a one that we use sometimes.
I think you just did.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Let's see. I think that those are pretty much it. Well, if pocketbooks involved, there's not enough. And just like not enough in general, not enough alternatives, not enough people.
You get the big old thumbs up. The world is fucked. Sure.
Throw that one in. Feels like some good icing on the cake.
I feel like we could boil that one down to one of those other ones, but that's fine. It doesn't matter. Keep it on. If it resonates, like, again, it doesn't matter. Like, we're going to go through these. You can be not like, you know, they don't have to be the most distilled versions of these stories. Like, we will distill them down further. We will collect all of them. So anything that resonates with you as a story, as a baseline story, we put it down, and then we will distill them down later on. All right, what else you got for me, man?
What else do I got? Just on like cool shit that happened. I got to go to jiu-jitsu for the first time since I got color on my arm, so that was fucking awesome.
Nice.
And in the got some furniture for my house, did some decorating, so we're working on that one. And just on like abundant shit that happened, I was hanging out yesterday and was about to start work. And I got a text from my mom, and she's like, "Hey, can I drop some stuff off that I grabbed?" I'm like, "Yeah, totally." So she brought over 3 new Star Wars Lego sets just out of the blue, which I'm like already balls deep in. They're fucking amazing.
Nerd!
Hey.
Fucking nerd! Fucking nerd!
Yeah, I heard there's this like Dota stream. You go fucking watch it.
Yeah, I know.
Leave me alone.
I'm clearly
is better than yours.
Totally joking. Oh man, the world can use people who love shit and love doing shit and are intellectually curious in any capacity about anything. Like,
absolutely,
it's fantastic. I love it, and I also think it's really funny that, you know, we joke about your weebness and how you like want to marry this like Japanese lady. And then like, I think it was 2 months ago, and I was like, watch you fall in love with like some like hot Colombian lady, and you found a Hispanic woman.
Imagine that.
Because I will tell you from personal experience that they are fantastic. I love them. And then that's what I thought I was going, but of course, no, I'm with a Chinese woman. Like, it's like that's what I mean. Like, we go all the way back to like putting stuff out there and getting specific and having no idea what we really want. So congratulations, man. That's awesome. I'm really happy for you. All right. That is all the time we have today. And I will see you next week.
Sounds great, man.
Later, bud.
Peace.